The New York Mets make multiple tough moves as Jesse Winker is injured again. We're waiting to see if he's going to get on the IL, just like Kodai Senga is coming off the IL. But because he's coming off the IL, the Mets had to make a shocking corresponding move. It's going to put another hole at the designated hitter spot without Jesse Winker. And although fans are very excited to have Kodai Senga back, they should be a little bit concerned because of the move that the Mets made. So obviously, I'll disclose what move the Mets made, why it was so surprising, what we can see from Senga, and what the deal is with Jesse Winker and who his replacement might be if he hits the IL. Only here on Mets Digest. I'm your host today, Mike Duda. I'll take you through everything, but first, we have to talk about some subscribers, and that being that 67.8% of you that watch these videos aren't one. So please, do me a favor, do us a favor here at Mets Digest, and hit that free subscribe button. That way, we can bring content to you about the amazing. So, without further ado, let's dive right into this. And we are going to start off with Senga and the pitching guy that went down. A pitching churn, according to Anthony DiComo. The Mets pitching churn continues. Per source, the team DFA'd right-hander Rico Garcia. This is mind-boggling. I don't know why they did this. Who saved the bullpen yesterday with 2 2/3 perfect innings, touching 98 miles an hour in the outing. Obviously, Kodai Senga will be healthy tonight, and he will be active pitching against the Kansas City Royals. So we're going to start off with how happy we are. Kodai Senga is back. Look at those stats. I mean, he was the front runner, I'd say, for National League Cy Young. A lot of people were saying Paul Skeens, but I think Senga has been better than Skeens overall this season. Obviously not anymore because he hasn't pitched in as many games, but he was easily on his way to being an all-star, probably the front runner, like I said, for Cy Young, at 7-3 with a 1.47 ERA in his first 13 games. Went long too, 73 2/3 innings total over those 13 starts. Basically a 9 strikeout to 9 ratio, a whip slightly above 1. Senga was awesome to start 2025. Easily a career season for him. So it's going to be awesome to have him back before the All-Star break. He's not going to be an All-Star because David Peterson is in fact an all-star from that starting rotation. Congratulations to Peterson. That is awesome. Go ahead and check out Adam's video if you haven't already. I love Peterson. He's probably my favorite player on this team, so I'm super stoked for him. But obviously with him taking a starting pitching spot, they're not going to give the Mets another one in Senga. And Senga just hasn't pitched enough to be an all-star, but he has been way even better than all-star caliber level in the games that he's pitched in. So it's going to be great to have him back for that one start prior to the All-Star break. Again, tonight, Friday night at 7:10 p.m. against the Kansas City Royals as we kick off a 3-game set prior to the All-Star break. But prior to the All-Star break, we still have drama and questionable moves from the Met front office. Why? Look at these stats and tell me why the New York Mets are DFAing this guy. I know it's only 2 games, but he hasn't given up an earned run in 4 2/3 innings, and there's been 2 pretty lengthy bullpen outings. 3 Ks and ER, a whip. Look at that whip. 0.21 whip. Why are we DFAing this guy? He's pitched twice, this being, of course, Rico Garcia. On July 6th against the Yankees, he pitched 2 scoreless innings, just 1 hit, giving up 2 Ks, 31 noted pitches, and then he saved the bullpen. We heard it from DiComo. He saved the bullpen in Game 2 of yesterday's doubleheader against the Baltimore Orioles. He went 2 2/3, no hits, no runs, a strikeout on 35 pitches. And look at the career numbers. Rico Garcia is not this incredible player as a career. He is having a great year. He is having a fantastic start here in 2025 with the New York Mets. Why? I don't understand this move, as the SNY News desk is going to break this news saying, quote, the Mets have designated Rico Garcia for assignment in order to make room on the active roster for Kodai Senga, reports Anthony DiComo of MLB.com. Now, obviously, you had to make room for Senga. Senga's going to start tonight, but I don't think Garcia was the right option, and I'll explain a little bit more in just a bit, as Senga will be returning from the IL to make Friday's start against the Royals in Kansas City. Garcia tossed 2 2/3 perfect innings against the Orioles during Game 2 of Thursday's doubleheader. In his only other appearance for the Mets this season, he fired 2 scoreless innings against the Yankees on July 6th, allowing 1 hit and striking out 2. You heard these numbers earlier. They are extremely, extremely impressive. Now let's go ahead and take a look at this roster. We're going to work top to bottom. This is the roster as of now because the Met transaction list in MLB.com hasn't updated yet. Rico Garcia is still technically on the roster, even though they DFA'd him, and technically Kodai Senga is not active yet, according to the transaction list that will update sooner rather than later. So now that we have it, let's go top to bottom, excluding the starting pitching, and say, why? Look at these other guys that can be DFA'd or sent down instead of Rico Garcia. You start with Huasco Brazoban, obviously not. He's a veteran presence in the bullpen. You have to keep him. Alex Carrillo, although I like him and he's got a great story, go ahead and check out that video if you haven't already. He gave up 1 earned run in his 1 1/3 that he's pitched in the first game of the Baltimore Orioles series. That's a 6.75 ERA, so he obviously could have been an option to go. Next up is Chris Davinsky. Again, I thought he could have gone, but Davinsky has also pitched really well, so I don't see a world in which you do. 2 1/3 on both the 5th and 6th of July. 2 hits, no earned runs, and 2 strikeouts, and just a 2.45 over 7 1/3 with the Mets this year. So I think Davinsky has proven himself enough to not be DFA'd as opposed to Rico Garcia. Obviously, Edwin Diaz and Reed Garrett are not going to be DFA'd or sent down. They are also veteran pieces in this bullpen. Justin Hageman is a guy. I don't see why the Mets sent down Garcia instead of Hageman. Hageman so far in July, 6 1/3 innings pitched, 6 earned runs, and 3 home runs over just over 6 innings. That's an 8.53 ERA. 8.53 ERA this month. He also pitched 2 innings, 4 hits, 3 runs, 2 of them earned, 1 walk, and 3 Ks on 41 pitches yesterday. So, yeah, you heard that right. Justin Hageman went less innings and threw more pitches than Rico Garcia did yesterday, but they DFA'd Garcia instead of Hageman. Why? That makes 0 sense. That literally makes no sense whatsoever. Let's go over to Richard Lovelady. Lovelady has been even worse, arguably. 6 2/3 and 8.10 ERA with the New York Mets this year. Yesterday, he pitched a third of an inning, gave up a hit, gave up an earned run on 15 pitches. He wasn't good. Why don't they get rid of Lovelady instead of Garcia? Obviously, you're not going to get rid of Stanek. And Brandon Waddell, he also hasn't been good. He's another guy that you can get rid of instead of Garcia. 8 2/3, 6 earned runs, 3 homers as well, and a 6.23 ERA here in the month of July. And he pitched even more pitches than Garcia and only got 1 more out. 57 pitches to get 3 innings, 4 hits, 3 earned runs, 1 walk, and 2 Ks yesterday. Yes, 57 pitches. How many did Rico Garcia throw? 35. Why? Why is Waddell not gone? Why is Hageman not gone? Why is even Lovelady not gone as opposed to Rico Garcia? It's ridiculous. I think, personally, especially because you're going to get Sean Manaea back, so you're going to have to make another move coming soon. I think Garcia still should have stayed. I think you should have gotten rid of Waddell, and you should have gotten rid of Hageman. Let it be. You want to get rid of Waddell today or Hageman today, and then the other guy on Sunday when you inevitably activate Sean Manaea. I don't care. It should have been Waddell, Hageman, or Lovelady, not Rico Garcia. This was a terrible move. This was a really, really dumb move, to be blatantly honest, from the New York Met front office. But now that I've gotten that off my chest, let's go into Jesse Winker, because you saw that in the intro video. We have another injury in Jesse Winker, as Andy Martino says, quote, awaiting word on if Jesse Winker needs to go back on the IL for the Mets. Jared Young traveling to meet the team in Kansas City, but sometimes that can be a just-in-case thing. So that is a good sign that Young is coming possibly as a just-in-case, but it's not a good sign that Winker might be going on the injured list. And upon looking at the replay, it's obvious Winker in his 3rd at-bat back from his first IL stint clearly winced as he was finishing his swing. He was clearly in some pain in game 1 of that doubleheader against the Orioles in the first inning when he had his first at-bat. Took a swing, popped it up, and he just didn't look right. He had a wince on his face, which is not a good sign. So let's turn it back to the experts, starting off with Mike Puma of the New York Post. He begins the Winker narrative saying, quote, Jesse Winker's return to the Mets lasted all of 3 plate appearances before the arrival of another injury concern. Winker had returned Tuesday from a 2-month stay on the injured list after rehabbing an oblique strain, and now we'll turn it to the SNY crew, Danny Abriano and Colin Martin. They say, quote, Mets designated hitter Jesse Winker could be heading back to the IL just a few days after returning from an extended absence. Winker, who exited Thursday's game against the Orioles after just one at-bat due to back tightness, is being sent back to New York for an MRI, manager Carlos Mendoza said after the game. Mendoza noted that an IL stint is a possibility. If Winker lands on the IL, the Mets will have essentially be without a regular designated hitter until after the All-Star break, which begins for them after Sunday's game in Kansas City. Obviously, it's a 3-game set. Starling Marte landed on the IL on Tuesday. Go ahead and check out that video if you haven't already. Retroactive to July 7th. The expectation is that he'll be able to return right after the break, with the Mets beginning the second half against the Reds on July 18th at Citi Field. And speaking of that series, on July 19th, tune in as I will be doing a live stream here on Mets Digest. Of course, our guy, the captain, the fourth captain in Mets history, David Wright, he is getting his number retired. He is being inducted into the Met Hall of Fame. So I will be doing a live stream on that. We're going to do a watch along. So stay tuned, mark it on your calendar, and be ready for that. But moving back to Winker, we do have some positive-ish news from the skip, Carlos Mendoza, who said, quote, pre-game, he was fine. This, of course, being Winker. Went through his pre-game routine. He was fine. After the first at-bat, he just came in and said that his back locked up. So that's good news. It doesn't sound too severe based on what Mendy said. And we have good news as well on Starling Marte, which we heard from Puma as well as Abriano and Martin. They were alluding to this positive news as Marte says, quote, I'm 100% confident that I'll be able to return, bounce back right after the All-Star break. So that's very good news. But in the meantime, the Mets need a designated hitter. And if Winker is indeed on the IL, they will be turning to this guy, Jared Young. Now, the OPS is bad, but it's not that bad when you consider he's hitting 171. He's got some pop, 3 homers and 41 at-bats, but only 4 RBIs. He hasn't been anything super special. And again, another questionable move. I know you have to deal with options, and I know it's very complicated to deal with the roster, but at some points, I just don't understand why they keep bringing back the same guys that clearly have not been producing well. And speaking of not producing, this guy needs to step up. Mark Vientos is having a very, very poor season after a great year in 2024 in his rookie campaign. He needs to simply be better. Obviously, his defense is not good. We have seen that on time and time again on multiple occasions. His defense is not there at third base. So he could be a regular DH moving down the stretch. As much as I love Jesse Winker, and I know a lot of Met fans do, Winker is up at the end of the year. He'll be a free agent. The Mets could very well move on from him. They can move on from Starling Marte and say, hey, Mark Vientos, if you want to stay on this team, you have to be a designated hitter and you have to hit the ball. So why not prove that right now when you clearly have the shot? Mendy should be giving a lot of looks to Vientos at the designated hitter role, with, of course, Mauricio playing third and Beatty over there at second. So, Mark, now is your time. Wake up. Let's go. I love Mark Vientos. I'm a big Vientos fan. So let's go. Come on, Mark. Wake up and show that you belong on this team, particularly as the designated hitter. So plenty of tough decisions that the New York Mets had to make today. I personally don't agree with a lot of them. Obviously, Garcia being one of them. I don't love Jared Young coming up potentially in place of the Winker injury. Of course, that Winker injury is very unfortunate. But it is Ghost Day today. Kodai Senga takes the bump 7-10 in Kansas City against the Royals. So stay tuned for that and go down in the comment section. Let me know. Do you agree with the moves that the Mets made? What are your thoughts on Winker? Do you think he'll be okay, or is he going to need an IL? And are you excited for the Ghost to come back? Let me know all of it down below. Thank you so much as always for watching. Unfortunately, that's all the time I have for you in today's video. And let's go Mets.